little bit thirsty.
Sure. I was going to say we can be thirsty again since we are all boring today.
I am like so freaking tired today.
Like
I could sit here and fall asleep. It's like really hot in here for some reason, and I'm thinking about opening the window.
See, for me, I am recovering from dealing with my dipshit daughter. Just being a dipshit daughter and wearing my ass out by her poor decisions. I've decided that my parents must have cursed me at some point to have a child that was just like me at that age.
I don't think they cursed you. I think they parented you and you did not change your parenting styles, and that parenting style produced you, and then you took on the same parenting style which produced her. You cursed you, dude. So anyway, I kind of like that. Give myself a high five. Oh, yeah.
Also, how dare you? You woke up the dogs.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, puppies. But anyway, the Pipeworks Brewing, Open Your Ryes. I really like the can art. It is a green background with some like yellow things, and then you got like a head that's got a face coming out of each side with the outer space, and then like a I don't know, a bright light coming from it, because it's like you're opening and expanding your eyes, but it's really your ryes. And it's got a yin-yang sign on it and some stupid chick, and then like a...
Don't open that one, Ron. It doesn't have a screen.
A smiley face sun. And, ooh, smells like an IPA.
Smells like beer.
Ew, that's nasty.
Very foamy.
What's it
And
called
head.
again?
Open Your Ryes.
By Pipeworks?
Mm-hmm.
Where's Pipeworks out of?
Pipeworks is out of Chicago. And I feel like they didn't have a whole lot. I'll go back over. They did not care about how awesome they could potentially be to everyone, so...
So while they're talking, and while we're recording this, I have to get a picture of these two stupid little cute things just laying there, ready to like attack. Yes, I'm talking about her dogs. I'm living vicariously through her.
I took my dogs through the drive-thru
I was going to say the dryer. I was like,
at
whoa.
Wendy's. What the fuck, phone? The other day, and I was like, oh, they'll, like, probably give them some free foods or a dog treat or something. I had them in the front seat, and I had them in my lap through the drive-thru. And that lady did not even acknowledge my dogs. And I'm like, what kind of psychopath doesn't acknowledge a cute little puppy?
Again, you need to ask for pup cones. They're free.
How?
Even
How?
if you, just be like, hey, yo, I've got a couple dogs with me. I need some pup cones.
I know, but they could clearly see it because it was right in my lap. And I'm like, how did this girl, she's got to be a psychopath. Like, she wasn't even like, that's the cutest dog alive.
Do you ever go through Starbucks? They have Starbucks has pup cups too.
Yeah, I know.
And they just basically take like the whipped cream from their like fraps and just shoot it into like a coffee cup, and you watch the dog lose their shit at it.
Very cute.
Let's see. So, Pipeworks Brewery was established in Chicago by a 2012 friends with shared dreams of crafting quality and creative beers. Since putting the first cap on the first bottle, the brewery has garnered accolades for its distinctive beers and original artwork, thanks to a growing and enthusiastic team. That's literally it. I guess I probably could have like looked them up and everything else.
How many hops did you mention on this thing?
2 different hops.
This has like a creamy scent to it, I feel like.
Oh yeah?
It's a very smooth IPA.
It does have a creamy scent. Ooh, it is smooth.
Oh.
It's not bad at all.
Yeah.
It's
Pretty
really
good.
weird.
It's nice. It is creamy a little bit. And
so creamy.
It's not super hoppy.
No, it's not.
Like slightly hoppy. And it has, I don't know, kind of like like when you eat like a cantaloupe and it has that like bitterness.
No, I don't think they're bitter. I
feel like they're
cantaloupe.
bitter like towards the end. Like we eat it and then it leaves like a bitter aftertaste or something.
When you eat the rind, maybe.
No, the cantaloupe tastes bitter to me.
No, I think they're like stupid sweet, and I love them.
And I think they have like a bitter taste, and like most melons, like honeydew and all of that have like a weird like bitter aftertaste to them, and that's what this beer reminds me of. Maybe somebody knows what I'm talking about out there.
If you know what she's talking about, please let us know, because I think maybe that she's just high on crack on this one.
I want some
I
crack.
think
Crack? We got crack?
I'm just genetically predisposed to not like cantaloupe or honeydew. Watermelon's good though.
Let's see.
Real watermelon's good. Fake watermelon flavor can suck a bag of dicks.
I like both.
Both are good. This is, you know, I've had my first couple sips of this, and I was like, it's good, but I don't know that I'd want to drink it. I'd drink it again to, like, develop the taste for it, to get the taste for it. But I was kind of like, I don't think I like it enough to drink it again, but now I'm starting to like it.
I feel like this would be good with a steak.
This is one of those that is a good cold IPA, but if it warms up, it'll just get kind of blech.
Right.
You'll lose the... Drink it as cold as you can get it. Otherwise, it starts to get warm and it just tastes like any other IPA.
I don't know. I would definitely try more of it. I mean, I would probably, I don't taste any rye in it, which is a little bit disappointing because I really like rye.
That's kind of the flavor I've actually been picking up with that smooth flavor. As I remember.
Okay, maybe I got a little bit then.
So, alcohol with rye in it, ever since I've had, ingested rye whiskey, it's a very distinct flavor. When my buddy Dan got married, God, it's been like 8-9 years ago now, I was best man at his wedding. And for his bachelor party, he wanted to have it at my house, and played a little game with the bachelor there. Basically, anybody that showed up, there were 3 bottles of bourbon or whiskey, and they had numbers on them. And everybody that walked in there, basically it was, so pick a number 1 through 3. And, you know, one was a bottle of Crown, one was a bottle of Jack, and there was this, like, pre-Prohibition style rye whiskey Jim Beam. It was god-awful stuff. It was rough as shit. And everybody kept picking, you know, the rye whiskey, and Dan would take a shot of it, and I tried a few of it, and that stuff was so just flavorful, bad, that I remember I couldn't even, like, hide the rye whiskey flavor when I made whiskey chili with it.
Oof.
Yeah.
Rye whiskey is awfully rough. Was it the Tullamore Dew that you had?
Tullamore Dew is smooth as shit.
I was gonna say, because I thought that was smooth, but then I remembered you having that.
Well, it's that like pre-Prohibition stuff.
Okay, gotcha.
Tullamore Dew is like Scottish, Irish, or whatever.
Yeah, it is very smooth. I remember you taking that. Didn't you take that kayaking with us?
That would have been the Jameson. The time that I flipped the kayak and lost my glasses.
Yeah.
That would have been the little bottle of Jameson.
Shit. I could swear I thought you had like a little bottle of Tullamore. Did Jess bring the Tullamore Dew?
I don't know. I don't know if I was drinking Tullamore Dew at that point. See,
I remember because that's like I remember having it distinctly when kayaking.
So
because I never heard of it before then.
So like the very first time I ever had anything with like podcast shit, ages ago now, there was like 3 or 4 buddies that did horror film shit down in Dayton. And I was on a few episodes of a podcast called The Sea of Madness. I don't know if they're still doing it or not, but Keith was the host, and we always went to his house. And Keith always would bust out, you know, we started the episode, he'd bust out, you know, glasses and ice balls and fill up the glasses with Tullamore, and we'd sit there and sip and talk about whatever the hell horror films we watched that week. Basically, it would be, you know, we'd rotate around, and one of us would pick a horror movie, all 4 of us would have to watch it, and then, you know, separately, then go back and talk about it on the podcast. God, it's been a long time since I've done that shit.
Sounds fun.
Those guys don't drink, so they kind of lost touch with them. They're mostly into smoking cigars now, but Henrik still makes movies, and those are fun times.
Hell yeah.
But that's where I discovered Tullamore, and that shit is smooth. You don't need to... Some whiskeys, like, you take a shot for, like, you're having a bad day and you want a shot of something bitter just to, like, blow your brain cells out. You go, blah, blah, blah. Tullamore is one of those you just sit there and slowly sip on it and relax kind of bourbons, whiskeys.
So basically, Ron likes to punish his mouth hole whenever he's had a bad day.
Do you feel like this has like a bubblegum aftertaste a little bit?
No.
Really?
I don't think so. I think there's like a little
Maybe
bit of
I'm
a
off
citrus
today.
in there.
And as far as punishing myself, yes. It's one of those, like an emo teenager cutting themselves. It's that
I
sort
get
of...
it. I get
It's
it.
that sort of a thing where you're just like, everything has just been shit all day, and I just need something to, like, reset the like negative thoughts inside my brain, and there is just I am so fucking pissed or something's just so rough.
I guess that makes some sense.
And like the shock value of it, like, you know, hooking up nipple clamps to a 12-volt car battery.
I think you ought to do that next time you have a shitty day. Just bypass the alcohol and
I mean, short term, it's probably more healthy for me. Did you describe the can art?
yes, I did. I think it's very interesting. It's like pretty esoteric type. I dig it. It's kind of simple. There's not a lot on it, but it's just like...
Did we describe the art for the first bottle?
We did not. I just said basically the label's upside down and it looks like there's a label over the label, but really it's one label.
Just a very generic kind of a Brewdog label.
Right. Let's see. This is becoming more... Like, I think I would drink more of it.
I feel like it's tasting more like an IPA the more I drink of it.
It's warming up, and that's what I was saying. You know, if it warms up, it's just going to lose the uniqueness. It just hits straight IPA.
I think it's losing the bitter flavor, though. And it still has that creamy flavor.
I'm playing with things with my feetsies. So I told about my whiskey drinking and that Sea of Madness that I did eons ago now. What other, like, bourbons did you discover or anything like that with friends that have just been like, huh, that's a thing that we don't know about?
I never did a lot of whiskey and liquor discovery. I just always drank the cheapest ass fucking vodka you would ever have.
Like the $6.99 for like a fucking humongous bottle.
Right, the gallon of it, like
Yeah.
the Kamchatka.
Gallon of vodka.
The Kamchatka.
I think I have some of that in my.
Ugh.
In
That
my,
shit's
cabinet.
nasty. And then like you would
It's good for like mixing up. I make like vanilla extract.
Oh,
It's
okay,
good for
good.
doing stuff like that.
I do remember a time you did discover one very unique flavor of alcohol. We never did, I don't think we did find the name of it. Do you remember, this was like right after
Jesus fucking Christ. It was nasty as fuck, too.
Flashbacks. This was shortly after I split with my kid's mom. So this is getting on towards, 6 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
We went to a Mac Sabbath concert, which is a parody of Black Sabbath that is McDonald's themed. And we went to some little like fucking dive bar in Columbus. I don't know where the fuck it was. Couldn't find it again if you
I
asked.
think I
pretty
remember
cool
seeing
place.
pictures of this.
And just sitting there like doing random shots of shit. My buddy Rob drove, and what'd you find, Missy?
So there was this. I can find it. So there was this weird ass bottle that was sitting on the shelf. I was like, dude, is that like a fucking prop bottle? I was like, cause it looks fake as fuck. And the chick laughed, and she's like, I can let you try it, but I'm not gonna sell it to you. I'm not gonna sell you a shot. I'll just let you try, a shot. Or well, she poured the tiniest amount in the cup. I was like, what are you fucking talking about? I was like, if it's gonna be nasty and I'm gonna hate it, I was like, I'm getting a full shot glasses. I was like, cause if I'm gonna hate it, I'm gonna at least enhance my fucking buzz a good bit from it. And so like the bottle was, I don't know,
I thought it was like a generic cowboy looking something or other.
like the bottle, it was just, it gave me like that old timey feel because it was tall and like oval shaped. It was like I
thought it was supposed to be like something cherry flavored.
It was not. I don't know if it was cherry flavored or not because
Supposed to be.
Like the bottle, it had a green. It was like green on the back. It was apple. It was green on the background, and then it like the dude on it was in red, and he was like this old guy that looked like just I don't know some kind of southern weird thing, and I forget what it was called, but it was this apple whiskey, so it was like a craft whiskey. And when I tried it, she's like, well. People said she told me she's like usually the people that try it like they say it tastes like fucking dirty dishcloths. I was like ugh, and it literally it tasted like that and I was like cigarette butts, dirty dishcloths, and an ashtray like all mixed together. It was like
Ew.
fucking musty, and I was like, it was so god awful. Like I was just taking sips and drinks of everything to try to get that taste out of my mouth. It like literally just made you want to fucking throw up. And I remember seeing it at, I think the Belmont Party Supply Store. I didn't see that one, but I saw another bottle that looked just like it, but it was blue and purple. And it was their craft gin. And it had like it was like a mint and maybe vanilla.
Like a mint julep kind of a thing?
It was like I don't know, like a mint vanilla gin. And it was like really fucking gross. And now I really want to know what that's called.
Now I'm giving her flashbacks.
Yes, because it was nasty. Let's see.
How about you, Ariana? Do you have any good stories about anything horrible like that?
No, not at the moment. I'm too tired. I can't think right today. My brain's not working.
Let's see.
I'm not falling asleep over here. It's ridiculous.
It's because you've been busy playing mom for the last week.
Yeah, and I went back to work this week after having a week off, so that's not really helping, I think.
Oh, that sucks shit.
Plus, I'm like training on a new job at work, so that's also not helping. Everything's sapping my energy.
Old people problems, man. Old people problems.
Super hard to fit. It's not the Brewdog. Let's see. It took me a while to find it the last time I looked for it.
I just remember her drinking that, and it was like, so for those of you that saw the freaking Molly Hackrench episode where Missy was just talking about how great that what Tripping Animals was,
Yeah.
because that Molly Hackrench was awful. It was like that sort of shit in like a pre-form.
I honestly couldn't tell you which one of those was more gross. I probably that whiskey because it was stronger and you couldn't get the flavor out of your mouth. But then it was just like, I think that's the most disgusting thing I've ever put in my mouth. In fact, I could probably find some other things to put in my mouth and they would still be less disgusting.
She sucked the grossest dicks,
Well,
and
Missy,
right. I literally
Missy,
could probably do that. I could go suck the grossest dick ever, and I'd be like, that still wasn't as bad as that fucking
Ew.
whiskey.
Well, what are you
Who do you
doing
think
after?
has
What are
the
you doing after this
grossest dick
episode?
ever?
Who
Then?
do you think has the
yeah,
grossest
do you
dick
think
ever?
like there's like a contest or something for it somewhere?
Oh my God, world's grossest dick. I would love to see that, but I'll tell you who has the world's grossest dick. This dude today, when me and Logan were working out, he was like over this machine, like kind of far over beside us, and Logan was like, dude, he smells nasty. I was like, dude, you can smell him? He's like, yeah. And then I started
You
smelling
can
it.
smell his dick.
Probably. I was like, ugh, like this dude smelled like, he smelled like,
Tube steak smothered in gym shorts.
no, what did he smell like at first? He smelled like sour milk. And then I started smelling, it was like legit sauteed ass. And he was just,
Salty.
you could just fucking smell him all over the place. And like, thing of it is, he was nice. Like, I think he was trying to be overly helpful though. And it was kind of like,
Did he work there? Or was he just
no,
like,
he didn't work there. He
just
was
a dude?
working out. And he was, so basically, like, we were at the squat rack and he was at the squat rack beside us. And so, you know, me and Logan were squatting and I was like doing a lot of squats. I was going down as far as I can. So I wasn't like necessarily struggling, but I was like pushing hard. And he's like, if you're struggling, you should do the sumo stance, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, my
Why
leg.
am I picturing like that the creepy guy that's been in the reels lately with like the bad 80s hair and mustache and he just gives terrible come on lines?
I haven't seen him. Come on lines.
I'll find him and send him later to the group. But he's just like, one of the last ones I saw was just him and the dude in cut off shorts with like a headband and like roller skates.
I know who you're talking about, I think.
Yeah.
Does he flip people off?
No, but he's just like, hey baby.
Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, that guy. I'm just picturing that dude, but smelly.
No, well, see, this dude was like, he was telling me that I should do the sumo stance, and my legs were already out kind of far. And I was just like, so my stance was wide, like he was suggesting, and he was like talking to us, and it almost looked like he was getting ready to get up and come to our machine and tell us. And I was like, Jesus God, don't fucking come over here. And then he was telling Logan, he's like, and just like with your, because we were also doing like some chest presses. He's like, with your chest presses, he's like, it's okay to come down like on your chest and bounce the bar off your chest a little bit. And then he like bounced it off his chest a lot, and I was like, and he's like, you probably don't want to do it that much. He goes, I can bounce the bar off my chest a lot. And I was like, you don't want to bounce the bar off your chest because you don't like, you are going with momentum at that part. You want to use your muscles.
And there's a chance you
full.
could like drop the bar in your chest.
Yeah, it was, I'm like, you don't like, it was just the way he did it. I was like, no, that doesn't look safe.
I'm excited for my chaos to soon end, and then I'm going to actually go back to working out and shit. I had like a fucking like my like regular doctor visit, and he was like,
Gin?
What?
Yeah, well, there's a gin, and if I can find that gin, I'll be able to find the whiskey.
Is it this guy?
That looks like it. I don't know.
I don't think that it is.
They're
Is
still
the
looking
only
for the
thing.
terrible whiskey.
Yes.
But
Okay, so Writer's Block Rum by 451 Spirits. So 451 Spirits whiskey. But anyway, you're getting ready to work out because your doctor called you fat.
Yeah, my doctor called me fat, and like 3 weeks, I started eating lighter. Then like 3 weeks later, I went to I died a sleep study thing because they're going to give me one of those like CPAP, stupid ass old man sleepy things. And I got on his scale, and apparently by just eating slightly better in 3 weeks, I dropped 5 pounds.
Nice.
Which just means I'm really just eating too goddamn much shit.
Right, because it's like you're like, when my chaos stops, I'm going to be doing this. And I'm like, you're blaming your chaos, dude. You just fucking work out. You can do it. And also, that whiskey is called Dear Johnny.
Dear Johnny, that sounds right.
It was, but they changed the bottle, and so like all the bottles are changed. Visit us, 451 Gallery. They look like they have more fucking. That was the fucking grossest shit ever. I like the old bottles that they used to have because they were kind of neat looking.
Well, maybe they got like really successful during COVID when everybody lost the ability to have smell and taste.
Right.
And everybody was just drinking like son of a bitch.
Because they got something called Bone Shaker, but like they have writing over their fucking bottles and you can't see it. Curbside pickup. Visit us. It was that one. That was the old school bottle.
Yep. Terrible, terrible old things.
Smoked apple whiskey. That sounds like it would be good.
Oh. It literally
Why
tasted
does it have
like
a gold medal if it tastes like
it was fucking
dish
awful.
rags?
But that's what the girl even told me. She was like, people have described it as cigarette butts, ashtrays, and dish rags. Well, no, maybe I was the one that described it as dish rags. And she told me that people described it as the fucking cigarette butts and ashtrays.
Maybe it was like smokers that rated it high.
It was fucking so goddamn gross. So they got a rice whiskey called Experimental Series.
Would you try any of their other stuff?
Oh, yeah, I would, just to see how gross it is. And they also have absinthe.
I guess.
Absinthe?
Yeah, absinthe. So I would definitely try that shit.
I guess we've done the tripping animals and they've like redeemed themselves, so
Right.
it doesn't necessarily mean anything. Ugh.
Experimental Series whiskey. Ex Choco whiskey. So I'm guessing that's probably a chocolate flavor. So let's see what else. You have to keep going through this whole dumb thing. Vodka.
So I got a pretty funny story. One of my nephews, they have a tendency to run around naked a lot.
Yeah.
But like they're in a phase where they're like rubbing their wiener on things.
Oh
Basically,
God,
and, like,
yes.
yeah.
That's a great fucking phase.
And I had the puppies over there the other day, and me and his mom were sitting there talking, and we both look over, and he's like over there dangling his wiener over the puppies, and we're both like, "No, don't do that! They'll bite you."
That's fucking funny. That's fucking hilarious.
Hell yeah.
I love it.
I like dogs, but not that much. That's bringing me back to that freaking suggested Facebook group today that I definitely joined because I am just fucked up like that.
That's great.
Facebook keeps suggesting me entertaining groups. In this case, the group is called Not Only Am I King Shaming You, but I'm also calling the ASPCA. And it's just lots of fucked up stories about people that are doing things with animals that they probably shouldn't be doing.
It's fucking outrageous.
Gross.
I think I'm like looking into this fucking absinthe. I mean, it's gonna taste like shit. Who fucking cares?
But it's going to make you trip balls.
Is absinthe even legal here?
I don't know.
They
I thought
made
it
I
wasn't.
think
Well,
they
this
did.
company is a.
Oh, is it?
They re-legalized it. But
did they?
It is a Ohio brewery.
Interesting. I didn't think it was legal here. I didn't know they legalized it.
it's probably like a percentage thing. It says it's absinthe, but there's only like, a fraction of what the old school shit would be in it or something. So to get like the actual fuck up effect, you'd have to drink a ridiculous amount.
So is that an actual? Because it doesn't have the Ohio thing on it, and it doesn't say anything about it. There's no. I mean, like this website is as fucking poor as their fucking alcohol is.
I hate shitty websites.
Right, and it's what is absinthe like? I mean, what is in it? The active ingredient?
No idea, but it's
Ingredients.
Yeah,
freaking. I think it was like oh god, not Picasso. What's the fucking artist that cut off his ear?
Van Gogh.
Van Gogh. Van Gogh is real heavy absinthe user.
I think it's just a flower or a plant called absinthe.
Okay. Ow. Okay.
I left
I am
peaches
getting-
and absinthe for a week. Absinthe symptoms. Absinthe's psychoactive ingredient, thujone, is believed to have been partly responsible for hallucinations, convulsions, and psychosis that some people experienced while under its spell. Since the time, most places have restricted on the amount of thujone absinthe can have. What does absinthe do to you? Drinking modern day absinthe will get you drunk, but that's about it. As with any potent alcohol, you should consume absinthe responsibly. Drinking too much alcohol can lead to accidents, injuries, alcohol poisoning, addiction, memory loss, and death.
All the fun stuff.
So they basically took everything cool out of it.
Lame.
Well, they get like drops of coolness in it. What does absinthe do to a person? Despite the many claims of absinthe being hallucinogenic liquor, the absinthe does not cause hallucinations. Although it can produce a severe intoxication when consumed in large quantities, absinthe cannot make you trip or hallucinate. It turns out the absinthe trip is actually the result of drinking very strong booze.
She makes the cutest noises.
The
when
dogs
she's
are just like,
sleeping.
It was like she was like trying to be a ghost.
Is absinthe the one that could make you go blind if you drink too much of it?
That's
Because
Everclear.
that's bad moonshine.
I thought it was absinthe.
Like you always hear about the hillbillies that made their own moonshine going blind because when you're like distilling shit like that, there's like the hearts, the heads, the tails, and when you first start doing it, the chemicals that come out of distilling the heads, there's a bunch of bad shit in there you don't want to be drinking. The hearts are the good part right in the middle, and the tails are also the bad shit. And what they'll do a lot of times is mix the heads and the tails back in with some of the heart, redistill it, and get a little bit more out. Because a lot of those bad chemicals will just, go back out because of the process.
So it
Someone may have once or twice been on like a few distillery tours.
the Indiana Everclear, because on their bottles there's things that warning labels that say caution, you can go blind if you drink too much, but then the ones in Ohio do not, because they allow the Indiana to be stronger, I guess. At one time they did, at
'Cause
least.
we're way dumber here.
Yeah,
We like to drink more than people in Indiana, probably.
We have a higher like ABV for your beer, but not for like your liquor. So Indiana is like, fuck you, man. We go to fucking drink the hard liquor. And Ohio's like, we will have Sunday beer sales. And Indiana, I think, is still like, no alcohol on Sunday because they're going to church.
and they also, I don't know how they are in their marijuana policy, but before it was like a zero tolerance bullshit type thing.
Probably not as chill as Ohio.
Definitely. Oh, it's never been.
I still think it's funny that there's been like basically all the young kids now, a lot of the concert venues, that a lot of the young kids now are bringing in weed and liquor sales are going down in some of the concert venues. Read about it.
Selling weed.
Not selling weed. They're basically like seeing like 25 and 30% reduction in alcohol
Right,
sales
but I'm just
because
saying-
kids bringing in weed and smoking it rather than getting drunk.
They should just be like, let's sell weed
I
here.
just read something not too long ago where it's getting cooler to not drink. Like it's like trending, like not drinking alcohol is like.
I
the
feel like I
trending
could
thing.
see that.
So that could be it too. It could
And
be
even the
that like
kids-
younger people are not drinking as much.
And even like the younger kids that are fucking doing weed, they're doing vape pens and shit, so it's not
Right.
actually smoking weed.
It's totally smoking weed.
It's vaping weed.
Yeah, but it's still weed regardless. They're using weed. They're doing THC.
So should we like describe this last beer so we can get on to
We should. It is
Rating wise,
creamy and smooth.
I'm gonna go with a 3.
Same. 3,
Middle of the road IPA.
3.
It was very smooth IPA, but middle of the road.
I got rye and bitter.
I'll give it a 3.25. And yeah, it's bitter, creamy, smooth, IPA, rye. Good head. Gives good head. This beer gives great head. Sucked me clean off. Liked it.
Clean off.
That's right.